All right, namaste, everybody.
No.
I'll see if I can meet you all. I thought I did. So welcome as I get a little bit of the text up. There we go. So I love to hear, requests and inquiries, and I'm going to attempt to begin to answer one of the requests. And how I'm going to attempt to answer that is, as many of you know, my email is Living Yoga. Now, what does that mean? I am not doing hatha yoga all day, although certainly be lovely if that was the case, but that's not how I'm attempting to live yoga. And so what living yoga is to me, and for those of you that are on this call, I know are dedicated yogi and yoginis, as you wouldn't be traveling along this far, is through finding a teacher or teachings that give you a map of the best way to live our lives through the yoga teachings of Raja Yoga, which I follow, resonated with me from, 40 years ago. And fortunately, I keep going back to those. So my invitation to you, whatever that teaching is, or the teacher that speaks to you with a body of knowledge that has been, long over time, but is also contemporary, applies to us in contemporary conditions. That's my invitation to live the teachings. So one of the primary teachings of Raja Yoga, they're yama and niyamas. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to go through one. And that is the first of the yamas. And the yamas are ethical, moral principles that relate to ourself and society. Okay, and they have similarities in different spiritual paths, but they may use different language about it. Okay, so the first one, which I'm going to invite you to today, and just during our class time, and you may see what a challenge this can be, is the principle of Ahimsa, which is nonviolence. Now, that is so broad. What I'm going to invite you to is not only nonviolence, which is typically done in a yoga class, a hatha yoga, part of the Raja Yoga Eightfold Path, nonviolence in your mind, in your thoughts. That's much more like, wow, if you can track what's going on there, awareness, and then catching what we want to catch is the negative ones. The positive ones are great. We love those, even the neutral energy. And then one teacher said it takes like 16 seconds once you catch it to reformulate that, to upgrade it, so to speak. So I'd love for you to just in our class time today, notice. And negative thoughts happen. When that happens, they're going to happen. Identify it, reframe it, try to bring it up to do no harm. That is the invitation of Ahimsa. And of course, Gandhi, it gets really vast out there how we live this. And there's lots of opportunity in our day and times right now where there's so much, I don't need to go into it. We know what's going on, but how can we live yoga? How can we do this as we're going about our lives? And how can we do this in our thoughts and our feelings? So I hope that makes sense. It's of course, a lifelong practice. It's, again, there's no end game here. It's a continuation on. All right. So if you're not muted, go ahead and mute yourself. I think everybody is. And I'm going to back it up a little bit. So I hope that is a very deep subject. And very worthwhile if you are interested in the teachings of yoga to look into the yamas and niyamas of the Raja Yoga path. And one of my main teachers, Yogananda, you are inspired, of course, knowing what whoever teachers speak to you. Okay, so working with the breath, working with body, thoughts, movement, yoga. We're going to start with our wrists because I had a request for that. And we're going to gently interlock the fingers and just think of a figure eight, 7 to 8 times in one direction, just loosening up, not only the wrists, In fact, the fingers and the wrists, a lot of that comes from the forearm, the tendons of the forearm connecting in the musculature of the fingers and the wrists, and then going in the opposite direction. This is just this gentle, anytime you could think of it, flowing figure 8. Let's think 8 times one direction, 8 times in the other. That'll make it easier. Fabulous. I'm going to back it up a little bit more, and I'll be incorporating wrists as we go along. And then our centering breath work, always good idea when we have 3 to 5 minutes or even 1 minute to do. So sitting comfortably, I'm going to invite you to turn the palms up. Add the thumb, index finger together. Again, yoga, the individual self opening with grace to something bigger, to something larger, whatever that is for you. You're going to close your eyes and you're just going to tune into the breath now. Notice the inside of the mouth, the inside of the right cheek, the inside of the left cheek. The tip of the tongue, the root of the tongue, and that may get you into the sound at the back of the center of the throat, the oceanic ujjayi sound. And then you want to feel that sound dropping deeper, throat chakra, okay, 5th chakra, deeper into the heart chakra, in and ventilating with the breath, the floor, the ceiling, the sidewalls of the chest. That's it. And now your next inhale, you're going to draw energy from that open right palm of the hand on the inhale. Visualize it coming up your arm, elbow, shoulder, the top of the inhale. You're resting at the heart, and then you're exhaling through that left arm, elbow, all the way to the palm of the hand. Okay, on the inhale, we're just switching the left energies, coming up that left arm, resting at the top of the inhale, and then exhaling through that right side of the arm, all the way into the palm of the hand. I hope that makes sense. Like alternate nostril breathing, but we're doing it with the arm and the heart chakra. On the inhale, resting in the heart center. On the exhale, just make sure you go into that opposite side of the arm. And you're going to do this 6 to 8 flows at your pace, tuning in to the energy of grace, really resting and listening to your beating heart. Our capacity for love, unconditional love. That's big. Trust in that guidance of your heart. Maybe some warmth and energy and will is also in the heart. Listening more deeply to the heart chakra. It's a big antidote to the times we're living in and to variations on the meditation path. It's like medicine. We're taking our own medicine, returning very quickly to what's already whole, what's already free, what's already aware. Okay, that's the journey. This is keep returning and resting in that connection. And listening for any kind of guidance or just basking in the warmth there. Okay, very good. So whenever you could think of it, if this speaks to you, do this practice. I'm really loving it right now. Sometimes I forget about certain techniques and they come in again, and it's just so nurturing. So I wanted to share that. The opening to grace, a bigger perspective. Now we're going to go to the mat, or I'm going to go to the mat. You're already there. And starting more on the movement aspect. All right. Okay, so as promised, focus on the wrist, which will focus on the hands. Think of the hand like the 4 points at the bottom of the feet, but it's on the hand. We want to make, whenever we're making contact, we want to press into these points on each hand. So, for example, as we're sitting comfortably, maybe switching your ankles if you were sitting like this. The classic namaste is we're going to press firmly into the hands, not too much. There's this fine line of doing no harm, of challenging ourselves when that's good and pressing a little bit, but not doing any harm. So we're pressing into the hands. We're inhaling and we'll keep that pressing in as the arms come up through the central channel, through the crown, 7th chakra, opening to expansion. Keep that energy going. You feel your arms, shoulders active, but don't scrunch up the shoulders. Notice as you exhale, you're just going to come up and down a few times slowly, opening the wrist. Right here, you turn your palms, I'm going to come closer. You turn your fingers away from you. Turn them away from you. Okay? For about 7 to 10 seconds. You don't have to count. And you're opening up the wrist. You're inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Maybe a heartfelt desire came up for you in our breath centering practice. Inhaling, expanding, and then exhaling, returning that light, the energy, the wisdom of the higher chakras into the heart center, and then turning the palm, turning the fingers away from you. So yeah, a little tricky not to get the shoulders crunching enough by the ears. We'll do this one more time. Hope you feel it. Inhale, fingertips point up. Throat chakra, spiritual eye, wisdom center, crown of the head and beyond as we reach up. Breathe in. My thoughts and energy reach up to touch the sky. So your thoughts and energy, you're really working with that and living yoga and doing no harm to ourselves. When we catch those negative thoughts, we want to see how we can update or transform them into something slightly better. Because we know as we do our breath of joy, so inhaling, interlocking now, exhale, we look at the world despairingly, which, I think we're aware of what that's like. I certainly have felt that lately. And then I feel the energy of that. And it kind of goes nowhere. It's not good. We know that, but it happens. It pops in. And then it's like, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to choose, reach behind you. Opening the heart to see if this is actually, if I can expand that into something a little more hopeful. And I like to remember on the exhale from the yoga teachings, this is why teaching a teacher, so powerful, a path gives you a map to orient yourself, coming back to the breath of joy, press into the palms. The yugas, okay, interlocking. And I'm talking a lot here, I'll just focus on movement and breath shortly. So believe it or not, and it is true from the yoga philosophy, we are in what's called an ascending yuga. We are evolving, okay? We're moving from a dark time to the age of energy, okay? Kali Yuga to Dwapara Yuga is a Sanskrit word. And then in that, the yogis have predicted this. There's cycles. If you looked up yoga, there's a whole philosophy teaching on it, opening the heart. And in that tradition of going upward on our evolution, even though it can feel like we're falling off the cliff here, exhale. What is happening, and then bring the hands back, is that there has to be a shakedown, a shake up, a releasing of the old paradigm to, we get to the higher stages, the new paradigm, the age of energy. And that age of energy is going to keep ascending for 2,400 years, okay? I'm not going to get into all that philosophy, but it helps to remember, oh yeah, we are ascending, right? I forgot, we're ascending, we're evolving. And that's our planet, that's our world. And of course, each individual has their evolution of cycles within each person. Okay, hope that makes sense. Draw it in, let's get the whole body, let's shake it out a little bit. So it helps me to remember, oh yeah, ascending yoga. Oh yeah, things gotta crumble, things gotta shake. I'm sorry, illness, sickness, that, you know, that's really hard. That's really, really hard to accept. But this change is definitely overall for the better. So trusting that, that's just part of how I orient the thoughts and energy going higher out of negative thinking. And then bringing your knees and doing no harm. Bringing your knees underneath your hips. And we're going to work with moving our wrists in different directions in our cat stretch. So let's start with turning our fingertips, if you can, toward the knees. If you can, that's really going to open up the back of the forearms and wrists. And we're going to add the cat. Inhale, scoop it out the low, mid, upper back, eye gaze up. And then exhale round. I want to check. And you're just going and flowing here. Oh, another person here in the waiting room. Yes. Okay. Inhaling, welcome. And flowing along, fingertips facing the knees, rounded spine. Whenever you can, we do cat a lot in classes like this. Notice the effect on the wrist. Now let's change it up. Let's come to neutral and bring the fingertips toward one another like this. Okay, fingertips toward one another. And then we're adding that cat stretch. So we inhale, scoop out, and then exhale. Keep on flowing. Right, Donna, welcome. Find the placement of the fingertips forward work for you. I forgot to say that, right? Do no harm to yourself. And then there's that fine line of where we want to press our edges for health reasons, okay? To expand that area. Now, let's keep that awareness of the 4 points of the hands as we move into our down dog. So, as we hover off the knees, and we're going to press into those 4 points. I usually say press into the base of the fingers. 4 points of the palms as we magnetize the heart and ease from side to side. Keep pressing into those points, rippling if you want, adding the affirmation. Of course, the affirmation is going to help us and see what quality you would like to bring in. Is it calmness? Is it peace, which is a variation on calmness? Radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Peace radiates through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Ripple, ripple, enjoy it, play, let's have fun. Great, everybody's on. And then from here, of course, warming up, we're going to come onto the knees again and turning into a Jani Shirshasana, meaning if you have a blanket, sitting on your blanket, extending your left leg, bringing your right foot in, rooting down through both sit bones, taking your left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you, chin parallel, twisting from the core. Looking over your shoulder. 3 breaths here. And slowly coming back. We're going to stretch over that left leg. So we'll take the right hand on the right knee, twisting toward that extended left leg. and radiant energy through that heart to hand connection. So important. What we do with our hands connects to our heart as we reach forward. Take your time. Elongate. You can use a strap. Right? You feel.
Don't let us not mute it.
Feel that energy opening up. Especially the back of the knee, we know fear lives there. You want it to release that consciously out. And then exhale, melting. Maybe exhale, melt a little bit deeper, relaxing the mind of the worries that we can't control. And see, doing no harm, allowing yourself to catch any negative thoughts. And softly being aware and changing them. Okay. Very good. Now, we're going to inhale. And if your knee's okay, and I recommend being on a blanket for your knees. So we sweep the arms up, we turn to face the center. We're going to come up. We're going to come up onto that knee, press to the left foot, and open up. Thoughts and energy surge upward, right? Radiate upward and then over. As the waves of joy surge up your spine. So we're opening all the chakras in our yoga practice, opening the big one to the joy center, surging up the spine. And who doesn't want more of that, of course? And then slowly coming down, waves of joy surge up my spine. Now that may not seem true to you right now, but we're affirming our highest truth, right? We're affirming our highest truth. Taking that in before we go to the other side, bringing again the press into those 4 points of the hands. Reach those fingers out in front, shoulders ease down, strengthening the wrists. Turning the palms back up. One breath here as we keep energizing and we allow this symbolic of our thoughts and energy reaching upward. Trying to get out of that descending energy. Note it. And then we transform it. We can't catch it. And there's times we process it and we, we allow it, its expression, but taking on certain inquiry, just to transform it at times is very helpful. So right leg extends, feel the toes back, root to the sit bones. Opposite hand, remember the whole torso is twisting here. So the right hand comes to the left knee, right hand behind you, twist. Feel those toes back. You want to stay here, you want to ease on the inhale and exhale. A little hydration, whatever speaks to you. Anarjani Shasana. And then coming back. Very good. The left hand on the left knee, twisting. Facing that extended right leg. Take your time. Press through the hands as your thoughts and energy rise up to touch the sky. This is the affirmation. Or again, make it your own as you hinge forward. Maybe using a strap here. It's an imaginary strap I have. First, the spine elongates, the hamstrings elongated the whole time, the back of the knee is opening. And when you're ready, exhale, soften. Hamstrings still active, but the upper body is easing down. We do a lot of yin and yang in our practice. So one part's extended, the other part softening. Relaxing any unnecessary mental burdens that letting go. Practicing the art, it is an art of letting go. And I'll say it probably every class, what we can't control. Okay. Inhaling, coming up, spine elongates, waves of energy surge up the spine as we face that bent knee. Arms float out to the side. We're going to lift up. I'm going to get on my blanket more to protect the knee. And we're going to reach up. You could be here with the arm, head to tail connected, or full extension of those waves of energy surging up the spine. So we know the Hatha Yoga is going to do a lot for the physical cleansing of the body and the mental and the emotional, returning us to our spiritual truths. Already true. It's all there. It's all there. The living yoga, not only in the asanas, but a teacher and teaching you resonate with, a path, a map you can follow and come back to again and again and doing the best you can there. All right, slowly come down. And take it in. And just, you can soak just regular now with the palms can be here. You can add that wrist, which we started with the figure 8 with the wrist. If you want to loosen up the wrists and the arms more and shoulders, or just take that in. Let's get into our next vinyasa flow. Okay, drawing the knees in. I'm going to come into our forward fold, Uttanasana. So feet hip width apart, resting the palms at the hollows of the elbows and the 4 points of the feet there. Not too much weight on the back heel, not too much in the front. You want to massage the scalp, that's also an option. Yes. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, and then from our Uttanasana, we're going to come up. We're going to come up with the knees bent, and let's come up in a bit of a chair pose here. The arms reach back, the arms reach forward. We're going to link this all together in the flow here shortly. Inhale. When we stretch up this time, focusing on the wrists again, the whole body, feet rooted in mountain pose, but then we're pressing, we're interlocking, we're rooting down and we're rising up. So the palms of the hands are really reaching up. Now this can happen with the shoulders easily. So you're pressing those shoulders down as you press the arms up and rooting down through the feet. A lot of dynamic energy is going on here through the whole central channel. Whole central channel of the spine. As we allow the arms now to come up to the side. In our mountain pose, again, back to mudra. Rooting, yielding. We're more yielding than rooting right now. Let's feel that. And we'll go into a warrior flow. Because of course we need that warrior energy to face the challenges. There is a lot of them out there now. It's been a big week for me in the therapy world. Huh. I won't go into that, but okay. We're here, we're now, we're bringing the hands together. We're going to step it back, right foot, walk your feet a little bit wider, track that left knee forward over the second toe, left hip back, right here forward, root back strongly through this back leg. And then we rise up. So that rooting down and that rising up energy, rooting and grounding and rising, really big principles. As we exhale, bend the elbows in line with the shoulders. And our affirmation as we bring our forearms together is, I attune my will to the source of all power. Do this several times at your own pace. I attune my will to the source of all power. You want to feel so much you're vibrating with energy in those arms. So the willpower is at the spiritual eye, wisdom and will there. That right use of will, that right use of willpower. I attune my will to the source of all power. We open to it, and we open to that divine alignment as we reach behind and interlock. And then adding that lunge, interlock if you can. Open the toes, shoulder eases onto the left knee. Bow into the wisdom of the heart. Letting it lead the way. And then slowly releasing and rotating off that back heel, stepping back into a strong plank. Or just chin chaturanga or classic chaturanga as we exhale down. Elbows by your side. Now just kind of rock side to side. Turn those fingertips in. Again, this is great for the wrist when your fingertips face in like this. We could do our cobra with the finger, half cobra, Bhujangasana, with the fingertips facing in. Let's try it and see. Your legs strong. Inhale, pulsing up. Inhaling. Notice how that feels. Now, again, this can happen easily. Shoulders press down as we're opening through, especially the upper body, rising to the light. And then exhale. You're inhaling and exhaling the whole time. So do a couple of those if it works for you. If you like the classic, elbows by your side. You can come up a little bit higher that way. As you inhale, shoulders down, have the lion's breath. Sticking out the tongue. Opening the throat chakra. In a safe way, in a non-violent way. We know what violence can come through our communication. So it's a safe way to release all that stuff. And melting down, stacking one hand, stacking the other, taking conscious rest, conscious breath here, softening the shoulders and feeling the belly breathing. Maybe the whole torso ventilating. It is. Resting in your heart again, resting, learning to return to the spaciousness of the heart, the grace of the heart, our capacity in this darkness to find the light. We are rising up, and then to rise up, things have to shake down. So coming up again. So fingertips face forward this time for everybody. Inhale. 2 lion's breaths. And again, eye gaze up, shoulders down. Knees touch to transition, navel to the spine, 1 rounded cat, fingertips face forward. Exhale. 1 scoop out. Look over 1 shoulder, then the other. Flow and flexibility as well as strength, of course. And then hover off your knees and core it back. Press into the 4 points of the palm of the hand. Nose to toes. And what quality you like to affirm of the divine qualities, you pick one: calmness, peace, wisdom, joy, the right use of power, whatever it is. Let that quality radiate through every cell of your body, every fiber of your being. And just let the brain ventilate with the breath. Inhale. Look at the space between the hands. We're going to giant step that right foot forward, so that opposite forward foot, it may take a couple steps there. Back foot 30 degrees, go fairly wide. And do a Virabhadrasana 1 here, warrior 1, to the other side. Take your time. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward, tailbone draws down. Okay. And knee tracks over that second toe. Foundation fairly solid, as solid as it can be. So that rooting quality, press down through the hands and feel that. And once you're rooted, now you can rise. You can rise. To meet the challenges, let's pretend we have weights. You can always use 3 to 5 pound weights. You know, it'd be a great idea if I brought some down. But have those as part of your toolkit, of course, to strengthen our bones. Yeah, vibrate with energy. I attune my will to the source of all power. Bring your forearms toward one another. And open up to the wisdom, the will of your higher consciousness. So if you value that, okay, pick a value. This is into psychology, acceptance, commitment therapy, ACT. We're much better off when we have a value and we're aligning to it and we're active in it. So there's a lot that could be said about that, opening the heart. And then slowly coming forward. When we're offline with our values, it just doesn't work. Our life. Knuckles up to the sky. Crown of the head toward the earth. So maybe pick one quadrant of your life. Now we're working on health and wellness here. That's one quadrant, one branch, the big branch. So we're working on health and wellness. We value that. She wouldn't be on this call. And we're activating that. We're taking action on that. Release. We're doing our practice. And not only physical, but it's going to get the mental, emotional, and spiritual yoga. So we're aligning our mental, emotional health, spiritual health branch and feeding it, nurturing it, and activating it. Very good. Step one foot out to the side of the mat and then back. The other foot and back. Chaturanga or knee chest chin chaturanga. All the way down. Locust series. Now you decide. Arms down by your side is easiest. Or out to the side. We won't do above the head yet. That is more challenging. Okay, so we're going to inhale, pulse up. Charging the central channel and all the limbs. And then exhale, hover. Arms out to the side. Inhale, pulse it up. Vibrate with energy. Super person pose, flying through the air. It's Locust Salambhasana, but feels like a super person. And opening to our wisdom qualities, our higher self, higher guidance, whatever you call that. The teachings that give you the map to return to again and again. Doing your best to stay on course. And resting. And receiving. Just luxuriate in the sound of the breath, the return of that spaciousness in the belly and heart. Notice that your heartfelt desire, if it stays the same or it's shifted. I tuned in, and one of mine is to live with grace amidst all these challenges, amidst all the hits that just keep coming. And you know, it's a lifelong practice, but it's wonderful to have that heartfelt desire and be active in it. And be active on your path there to remember to return to it. Otherwise, we will be taken out pretty quickly, you know, into a lot of hard stuff, depression, anxiety, et cetera, rising up Shoulders down. 2 lines breaths. Get that stuff out in a healthy way. Journaling is another way. Talking to a friend, we know this, it's a good reminder. Some knees touch down, 1 rounded cat, walk the hands back. So we've got our warrior 1. Now we hover and we go back and get more of a flow with that figure 8. In our down dog, elbows are bending, pressing through the points of the palms of the hands as a focus today. Have that quality in. Open, you can add your heartfelt desire. I'm going to say it out loud, just opening to grace and various whatever's appearing. That's a lot. And then slowly stepping 1 foot forward, then the other, and then the one hand and the other. If you can, bring your palms of your hands underneath the soles of your feet. So we open up the wrists in that way. You can have the knees bent for sure to do this. I like to rock side to side. That's okay. On the hands, the wrists. Again, those forearms are responsible for a lot of the energy in the fingers and the wrists. So the poses we're doing helping strengthen the arms. Okay, release. Cast aside any unnecessary mental burdens. Letting go. Activating what we can. And inhaling. Rising up. Interlocking, reaching upward, but keep those shoulders down and feel the space all around. Let's swirl it. Let's swirl that flow of energy around us. That light. That light from within, really. I mean, that's what we can tune into. And then maybe the arms come up higher. Okay. Now this flow, this is their balance flow. So this is a warrior 3 flow. So I recommend being by a wall to tap into, or a chair if you have it, something that you can access in our balance pose. Okay. So it's a 3-part. I'm adding on to a classic warrior 3. Okay, we'll call it the super person flow. So we'll start from a chair pose. So sweeping the arms down, rooting down through the legs, very strong. You can slice out. Remember, we've done this a lot. Slice out, you name that negativity, the doom, the gloom, the despair, whatever it is. And then we rise up. We name what it is. We're moving toward maybe hope, grace. Sometimes just, a neutralization of it. And then what we're going to do here is shift onto that left foot. Here we're starting our balance with the right foot up. And then warrior 3 with that right leg back. You could tap onto the wall here. Okay, I don't know if you see, I'm tapping onto the wall, then I'm releasing from it. Head to tail connected. Head to tail connected as you breathe in and breathe out. Stay here as long as you can. As long as you can, as you allow yourself to soar in skies of inner freedom. That's where the freedom is, the inner freedom. You may have realized we may not get it out there, but soaring within inner freedom. And then you come back, bend the knee. And then we slice, chair pose. So this could be a flow that you can do if you find that negativity coming up or the mood, dark mood, where you could actually need motion in certain emotions. Motion links with certain emotions to change it, to flow through it. So we bring that left knee up now. And then here's our warrior 3. A little farther away from the wall, but the arms can reach out now. Let's see how that works with the wall. The arms can reach out as we soar through skies of inner freedom. Yogis are always pointing to that. Of course, we're doing outer works and different things. I'm not saying to, that's never, not the prescription, but the prescription is to return the medicine to inner freedom. Soaring through skies of inner freedom. Now that's a lot here. And then we come up, we bend the knee. I'm gonna do it one more time to each side because you love it so much, right? Chair pose. If warrior three isn't your thing, we could do another one, okay? Inhale, shifting on to the left foot as we reach up, slicing through negativity, thoughts, and coming forward. Inner balance. Soaring through skies of inner freedom. That's the symbology of this pose. Soar through skies of inner freedom. We have a slight bend in the knee. We won't hold as long this time. 3 to 5 breaths. It's a challenge. And then bending your right knee. One more time. It's meant to be intense. Exhale. And that helps us with our darker moods too, to do something a little more intense. I find so, okay? And then we, what are we reaching for? What is your heartfelt desire? What is your value in a certain quadrant in your life? How can you activate that? These are pretty big questions, important questions. Lengthening and growing and breathing. You may not have the answer right now, but you can inquire into it and you will get the answer from the guidance of your heart. What can you do amidst all the sea of change? And then slowly come up. Maybe it's resting, maybe it's not doing a whole bunch. We'll see what your heart says. Lifting up. And last time, whoo, slicing through the mud of our own stuff. But we have these wonderful practices, these wonderful teachings. Reach up and feel the space around you. Resting, thumb, index finger together. Mountain pose, lengthening up through the crown. Maybe you want to place your hand below or by the pubic bone, the chakra, first chakra of safety, belonging, security. Maybe the other hand by the tailbone, safety, belonging, security. Go up to the second below the navel, our creativity. See how we've been nurturing that. And our ability to be communing with nature, being, and communing in a deeper sense with the life force all around us. Okay, the second chakra, there's so much there. I'm just tapping into, and then we'll touch into our power center of the third chakra, the right use of power, giving a little massage there. Aligning our will with something higher. Now we're going to go wide. Well, first we'll go in and then we'll go out. Okay. So I'd like you to have a block if you have a block. We're going to do, we haven't done an eagle pose in a while, Garandasana, and then go into Padottanasana. But it's a little bit different than I typically teach the eagle pose because we're going to rest on the block. You don't have to if you don't want to. Then again, for the shoulders, we're going to sweep open with the arms. We're going to bring that right elbow, if possible, underneath the left. If not like this, okay? And we're going to lift the tips of the elbows up, and then we're down. Now we're shifting our weight onto the right foot, And we're going to use that block, looking at a point on the floor, to just, there's a moment of balance, but then we tap into that block. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to crunch down. We're going to bring the elbow tips to the knees if you can, or in that direction, crunch down. In mid-sized storms, I find my center gets really crunchy, and then we can rise up. We're still in our crunch, okay? But there's a little upliftment. One more time. I know this is challenging. Crunch down. And then inhale. Maybe we're still in the crunch, still in the dilemma, but the heart's attempting to rise up to the upper chakras, to the wisdom self. And then at some point, we do get to free ourselves. We do get to release out, go wide, watch the block. Opening up out of that crunch zone, out of that darkness, into expansion, into star pose, into connection with the light within and all around us as we reach behind, interlock, and hinge forward. Okay, so hinging forward, knuckles to the sky on the inhale, crown of the head to the earth on the exhale. Again, relaxing and casting aside any unnecessary mental burdens. Those worries we can't control, let them go as best as you can. Inhale, and back up. So set it many times, but arms out to the side and star. I'll come back to this thought here in a moment after we set this up. So I want to set it up first. We're going to block over to the other side. Garandasana, eagle pose, soaring like an eagle. Opening up, wingspan, heart wide. A left elbow underneath the right, or like this. Pulse it a little bit. Elbow tips up, elbow tips down for the shoulders, which radiate through the heart, through the arms. And then shifting onto the left foot as we sink down. And there's a moment of balance. The block, you just know, is there somewhere. It's a little tricky. As we come down slowly into that crunch, Garandasana, crunchy eagle. Oh, how do I get out of this? Oh, we start when it's still crunchy, but we lift up. A little bit of light expansion. Sometimes that's what it feels like, a tip of the nose out of the water. And then another wave comes, a crunch. Seems like it's going to take us down. But our spiritual practices or your teachings are going to help you rise up and breathe in, breathe out. And eventually, we unravel, we lift and open. We find really wide. We find that expansion again, that light within. And this time we come forward with the hands on the hips. I'm going to move my block over. Hands on the hips. And then we go in the opposite. So we bend the elbows up first, tuck the chin to the hollow of the throat, walk the hands between the legs, palms down, pressing into those points of the palms of the hands, tucking the chin to the hollow of the throat. Letting go of what we can. And doing what we can. Both are super important. Hands on the hips. Elongate the spine. Wide open, expansive heart. Oh, I love that. Opening And then coming back into that central channel, neutralization. When we're not strung by duality. Okay, huge gift of yoga. Belly, heart, spiritual eye, crown on the inhale, breathing, and then the opposite on the exhale. So yeah, just keep doing that. So going back to that thought that it's said several times, but I find it's always good to remember, and there may be a few people that haven't heard it. But as you swirl around, we're going to get to the floor here in a moment, and I like this a lot. That what these were circles. What we can let go, you know, what we need to let go, we can't have influence. What we can do. And then there's an override there of what's called the sphere of influence, where it's not so clear, you know, that we could totally let go. It keeps coming back. For those of you who are parents, if your kid's doing something that's like, what? We're really having a hard time with this one. You may try to have conversations, you know, the sphere of influence would be the middle part. And then your kid would be like, well, I'm listening to that, or I'm putting up a wall, I'm not. And then you have to, right, you can keep letting go. But then you'll find out, you know, okay, maybe my sphere of influence isn't that big, but at least I tried, right? At least I tried. And sometimes we have to do that many rounds before we either go one way or the other. And then sometimes it may surprise us and actually listen to this wisdom that we have, right? Okay, all right, so we're gonna come down onto our backs, and maybe they'll figure out some variation of that for themselves, right? And ourselves as well. Anyway, plugging in the feet, lifting the heart up. Thank you, body, for all you can do. Yeah, that light's really cascading through the garden here. Shimmy shake down. Low back, mid back, upper back. Press through the feet. And sweep the arms around, iron out the back tension, side to side. Head easing from side to side. And this is the flow I like to do every day before I go to bed, or sometime to release the day. Inner borders of the feet together, knees apart. Really tune in. Maybe even exhale that breath out more. That will help us too. Circle in the opposite direction. Okay, happy baby. Either by the little toe side of the foot or the inner arches, and rock in side to side across the belt line. Notice how you may just naturally be tuning into your breath more. Certain poses do that, certain times of the practice do that, certain times of the day can help us do that. And let's do our spinal release. So let's draw that right knee in, left leg out, pull the toes of the left foot up, and then circle that right knee around a few times. We're going to plant that right foot, swivel the knees over to the right, and opposite hand. So twist, and knee and shoulder, knee and shoulder. And when it edge out, if you want to extend that leg, you're welcome to, or keep the knee bent, or use a bolster. So many ways to support yourself here. Left toes turn up, press that right thigh away. And maybe, well, I'll say the classic affirmation as we sweep our arm up and around. Divine life flows in me and all around me. But maybe you might want to add to it, I trust the divine life that flows in me And even though it may be hard to see all around me, but I can trust the inner divine life within me. That's the grace to help me navigate the stuff all around me. So make it, tweak it, the affirmation, maybe bring in your heartfelt desire and say it again and again. Keep you in that right, better alignment, okay? And the more we do it, the more that habit will be part of our lives. Soften the right knee. Adjust. Fold that right knee in. And let's go ahead and extend the right leg up, arms up, and simultaneously sweeping the arms above as a right heel descends, stretch with the right arm. And then open up wide. Solar energy on that right side, just flowing free. Big belly breaths. Okay, I'll press the left side. And inner borders of the feet together, left knee bends. Rotate the ankle. Then on this side, open up the knee. Get ready for Shavasana. Maybe that's why our breath is maybe a little bit more releasing. Let that left foot down, shifting, opposite hand over. Again, hydrating, seeing what works for you. That knee bolster, extend the leg, but turn those right toes in and use the core muscles quite a bit. Press through that right shoulder, root both shoulders down. And add your heartfelt desire. If it spoke to you, maybe it's forming, or you can use the one from Ananda, which is divine light, flows in me and all around me. Or perhaps I'm learning to trust that divine life within me. And as I trust that divine life within me, it's grace, right? And the grace to be present as best as possible with the challenges and the people and the family and the situations all around me. Okay, if you're complete, ease that knee, bend it. Adjust, draw your left knee in, extend the left leg up, lugging the shoulders, palms face one another, simultaneously stretch. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Once that left heel touches, stretch to the left side, left arm, left torso, and then soften. We are definitely going to go into the central channel, but get ourselves all the props that are needed for your best Shavasana. If that's shoulder stand, maybe it's putting all right over here, or a chair. Sometimes you want to go full shoulder stand, which is awesome because of the reverse of the blood flow, but this will give you that too. Of what's called a waterfall. The energy is drawing to the belly and then gently to the heart. Reversing the flow from the usual direction. Okay. Or any other variation, you know, I'm going to grab a drink of water here, get yourself warm and comfy. I said it last week, I love this term nesting, create that warm nest around you. Some warm things myself as we set up. For deep, not only relaxation, but again, I say it again and again because it's important. Shavasana, corpse pose, dying to only this limited ego self. Okay, this is where the stuff is, the protection, the defenses, the wounding, the insecurities. I mean, we want to be compassionate rather than kicking it out isn't very, I don't find it very helpful. But allowing and softening and being compassionate to these tender parts, and through that awareness, then they're able to soften more. So we're relaxing our egoic strategies in our practice of yoga. So. Oh my. So doing that again, that meaning getting as comfortable as you can, finding anything to adjust yourself that needs adjustment. Sometimes it takes a little while to do that. And we'll go from the top down in our relaxation. Remembering Ahimsa, doing no harm, ideally to ourselves or others in our thoughts, or speech, or actions. And if we do, there's forgiveness, there's ways to try to make amends. It's a whole other practice. I'm going to tune into the breath. We're going to do an exhale through the mouth. A sniff, sniff, a short inhale through the nose, sniff, sniff. And then an audible sound through the mouth. Do that several times. Letting the eyes, the muscles around the eyes, let's start with the right eye. Let that right eyelid get heavy. And let the left eyelid get heavy as well. Resting. Rest and digest. And then feeling the cool air through both nostrils, right and left. Spiritual eye opening. It's already open. We're tuning into the opening and the warm, cooked air coming out of the nostrils. So a union, we're aligning, we're communing with our highest nature. In yoga, that's the upper chakras, the spiritual eye, the crown, the heart. And if you're teaching or teachers, if you have that, allowing them to be here as well. Tuning in again to the inside of the right cheek, sensation there. And inside of the left cheek. The gums, the teeth, tip of the tongue, the root of the tongue. And perhaps you'll feel that oceanic sound more at the hollow center of the throat. Feel it's a cave, a cavern dropping you deep into the heart capacity. And we'll do the practice we started with. So we'll soften those shoulders, left and right. Both palms, if you can, are open to the sky. On your next inhale, feel the energy moving up that right arm, elbow, shoulder, tapping at the center of the heart. And then exhaling down the left side, shoulder, elbow, wrist, palm. And we'll continue with the inhale through that left arm, resting with the guidance of the heart. And exhaling through the right. So just switching alternate arm to heart breathing. As you're focusing there, I'm inviting you again to tune in and connect to your beating heart. Listening to it, the wisdom within. Trusting it. Maybe even feel some warmth there, some energy. Know that it's here to guide you, that you're tuning in to hear the guidance. And there is light there. There's wisdom there. This is the deep heart, not the emotional heart. Maybe it's about space to create what is needed. And this is the true medicine. This is the medicine of already whole, already free, already aware. Each and every one of us has that wholeness. And there's a saying, within the whole mess, can we find wholeness? Within the whole mess, can we find wholeness? And bringing your heartfelt desire, listening, trusting that divine life within you. Dropping deep into your belly now. Low back, the entire torso, renovating. Heavy organ. Expanding gently with the inhalation and with the exhalation. If the back body's lying on the ground, feel that whatever's lying on the ground becoming more heavy, supported by the earth. And then that expansion, whatever part of the body is facing the sky. Lightness. Continuing the body scan with the awareness of the thighs, knees, calves, ankles, soles of the feet, left and right, digits of the toes, heels, tops of the feet. deep conscious rest. And just noticing if you're in a deep state of interiorization, if you would like to stay there longer, and just click off the screen when you want, or if you want to return to movement, do it gradually, slowly, in a way that speaks to you. And just before you leave, I want to invite you to what's called a joy challenge. It's not original, I didn't make it up, but every day, something that brings you joy. Every day, it could be eating a chocolate for a minute. You know, it could be petting your, I don't want to give you too much. I want it to be spontaneous for you, but just something that will bring you joy every day and for a week, and see what that is. Be open to it. If you're transitioning and want to sit up, or if you're lying down, either way, we're going to send healing energy to others through the sound, the vibrational 3-syllable Om sound. So visualizing those you would like to send healing energy to, and it's a whole planet, it could be a couple of people, one person. Just attune to the spiritual eye. You can open the palms or keep them over the heart, whatever is comfortable to you, for the 3-syllable Om sound, sending healing prayers to others. When you're ready, inhaling. I'm bringing the hands together and namaste, acknowledging the divine light within you, letting it lead the way. That's where we are one in that consciousness and that light. Whatever teachings or practices that keep reminding us to return to that light of awareness